Good morning, everybody. It is a pleasure to welcome you all to this online event that we're organizing today with a very interesting topic and fruitful presentations that I'm sure will spark interest, but also inspire us for further discussions and creativity and activities that we can take on further on. This event has, as I said, a rich agenda. So as you are aware, we have several presenters today with us. Great thanks to all of them that they cherish their time and would like to share their highlighting their effort in the activities in circular economy. The event itself is organized by the Western Balkans Circular Economy Hub, which started last year with a lot of activities uniting the region in this effort towards circular economy. And several activities are already active, like, for instance, this type of networking events, matchmaking, but also a variety of educational capacity building activities, mentorship, supporting different type of stakeholders, predominantly companies, but also working with different stakeholders. And you also might not be aware, I would like to share just briefly that we started with the network of the Western Balkans Circular Economy Hub, and I invite you in this time to also, if you're interested, to meet regularly with peers interested into the topic, providing this space for exchange, for networking, to use this opportunity and become a member of the hub. And specifically for this event today, we also got real support, not only actually for the event, but also from the start of the establishment of the hub, from Elin Bergman. I invite her to also address us and share a few words on this journey and how you see these opportunities for us in the next period as well. Elin, welcome and thank you so much for your support so far and a wonderful cooperation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Angelina. No, it's been a fantastic pleasure to be part of this journey from the start until what it is today. And I'm so happy to be able to share knowledge from not only Sweden, but the Nordics, since I started a similar platform, the Nordic Circular Hotspot, many years ago. So share learnings and also what's working, what could be better, and if we did it over again and so on. But I think this type of events that we have today, knowledge sharing, what we know from Northern Europe and what you can achieve here in the Western Balkans, I think is really helpful. But also we are so interested in hearing what you are doing in your region, so we can share for our audience as well. So I think we have a beautiful relationship, and I hope that it can continue in the future as well.
I'm sure as well. Thank you so much. And with this, let's officially open the event. I invite our first presenter to share interesting insights that they actually have received. And I think we can also learn from this. We have with us Anne Charlotte and the research that Anne Charlotte did with their colleagues from the Rice Research Institute. It's very interesting. Welcome, and Charlotte, and please share your screen. And we would like to hear all the conclusions, but also some insights of what you can recommend for the Western Balkan as well. For all the participants, please, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat at this moment, and later on we will address them after our presenters finish. The floor is yours, and Charlotte.
Thank you, Angelina, and happy to be here to talk about the Circularity Gap report, the Value Gap Sweden. So my name is Ann-Charlotte Mellqvist. I work at RISE, Research Institutes of Sweden, as a researcher and also a unit manager. And last year I was involved in this project that I'm going to present right now. It's a project that we ran together with Circle Economy in the Netherlands, which I think you might have heard of. It's a consultancy and research organization, and it was funded by Research, which is a strategic innovation program in Sweden. I will tell you a little bit about the background, why this was set up, an overview of the method that we used, and also the results. It's quite short time, so I hope I will have some time for questions as well after the session. So the background here, I will swipe it through quickly. This is normally something that Resource talks about when we talk about this together. This is Claes from Resource talking about this. But basically, already in 2021, there was a work started to create a circularity gap report in Sweden. It was launched in 2022. It was also a project run by RISE together with Circular Economy and funded by Resource. And after the launch of that report, Resource found that they wanted to dig deeper into this gap and also have a look at it from a financial or economic perspective. So in 2024, they went out and asked for someone who could do or create such an analysis for them, and that is the project that I will talk about now. And of course, the sort of value of talking about value instead of just mass or material flows is that it sort of reaches another audience when we talk about the value of things and the cost and the potential revenue streams of things. So that's the background. The method we used, well, let's first start with a very short project overview. We ran this over 1 year, from September 2024 to November last year, in 4 work streams. The method development, it was it was based on the circularity gap report method, but then developed, of course, to include this value dimension. It was mainly the responsibility of Circular Economy in the Netherlands, who own and have created this gap method. We also had a big work stream, research and data collection, where we tried to find the data input needed to do the estimations. It was done both with statistics and with desktop research and literature reviews. We worked with senior experts at RISE, but also with a broad reference group that helped us do some of the assumptions, make some of the assumptions necessary for this. We then together developed the analysis and synthesis, and we worked with communication and outreach since it was first launched then on the 24th of November. Again, the method is a mixed method, so this is very important. It is built both on economic data and statistics where available, and that's mainly for the value creation in the Swedish economy. So there we have national statistics that we can build on. We also have national statistics when it comes to waste. So some of the value lost and value recovery type of things at end of life are also based on statistics. But everything in between, so the value loss, the missed opportunities for value creation that we will talk more about, they are built on desk research, literature review, and a number of expert assumptions, because there is no data on this. We had a sectoral approach, so we worked with 6 different main sectors in Sweden. Agri-food, you see them here: agri-food, mining and extraction, manufacturing, construction, mobility, and consumables. We did an analysis for all 6 of them, and then we added that up to a total for Sweden then, including these main sectors. We also use a method called the Value Hill, or a framework, let's say, called the Value Hill, which has also been developed by Circular Economy in the Netherlands. Maybe you've seen it, but it's basically showing a supply chain or a value chain and how it builds up value and then how it loses value after the end of life of products and materials. So we use this to visualize what we are saying in this report, that there is a lot of value leading, the gray parts here, created in the economy, leading up to the total value capture that we have in the dark gray part. But there is also value lost, which is the black part at end of life, and there is value not created across the supply chain here in different phases. And these are the things that we have then tried to estimate. One specific part here is the sort of zigzag pattern that you see in the gray part, which is the overconsumption. So we have also estimated something called overconsumption, and I will get back to that. When it comes to the value gap itself, we calculated that by adding the value not created with the value lost, so the black and green parts of the value hill, and then deducting whatever value is actually recovered at end of life through recycling, etc. That sum we divided with consumption deducted by overconsumption. So that's the nominator in our equation. And when we did this, we have what we call the value gap for the Swedish economy. And to jump directly into the results, the value gap of the Swedish economy is 19%. And in money, that means 600 billion Swedish kronor, or I mean, if we talk euro, that's approximately 60 billion euro, which is approximately half of the Swedish state budget. So it's actually a huge amount of money that we lose through not being able to recover value in our economy, but wasting it, discarding it in very wasteful ways. If we look at this per sector, I think that could be a bit interesting as well. You see to the right there that there is this type of Sankey diagram where the value flows through the economy, through the value chain. And it's split up in the different sectors that we looked at. And you can see that the value is, of course, differs between these different sectors. And you can see where it ends up as well in the right part there. And when we look here, we can see that most of the value lost is actually found, the sector with the highest value loss is the construction sector, where this value loss is 39%. Also, consumables are very high, 23%. While a sector like mining and extraction is low. However, that does not mean that they are super efficient. It just means that the materials that they treat are not valued very much compared to others because they are very early in the value chain. So they basically, when comparing values, you can see that this is not at all the same as comparing mass flows, which would look completely different actually. I think it could be interesting for you then specifically in this group, because I understand that construction is sort of today's topic, that we look a bit into the construction sector itself and try to understand what we say here then about this value loss in the construction sector. This is, as I said, the sector with the highest value loss. So the value loss is 180 billion SEK or 18 billion euro. That is the black part here, and it's basically it's the value that are still in the buildings and the constructions that we demolish and that we discard, even though they have a value still in them. So that's the big part here. We also have the green ones, so saying that value is not created properly during the value chain or across the value chain because there are efficiency losses where, for example, there is construction waste that we don't handle in a good way. And the overconsumption here for this sector, it has to do with not very well utilized space. So we have built space that is not used. We have built space that we don't use in an efficient way. That is a type of overconsumption. Another type of overconsumption here is aesthetic renovations. So it's quite common in Sweden to, for example, waste kitchens that are just a couple of years old, maybe 10 years old, and put in a new kitchen, for example. And there is, of course, a full functional value left in that kitchen that is then wasted. So those type of things are considered overconsumption in the construction sector. I have two more slides on this sort of across all sector analysis as well. So just sort of emphasizing that the key driver here of this gap is the premature end of life of goods. In total, across all sectors, this represents 420 billion SEK. And that is, of course, a massive loss, but it's also a massive opportunity. So if we turn this around, we can see that there are lots of opportunities to recover and capture this value. And some of the strategies for this are listed there in the blue part to the right. So that's, of course, everything from circular design, circular business models, working more efficiently with zero waste construction, et cetera, et cetera. So these are across all sectors. So there are lots and lots of opportunities. And I think that's really what we want to say here as well, that even though there is a massive loss, let's turn it around and make it into an opportunity. And this is the across analysis of the overconsumption, where we then say that 200 billion SEK annually is lost due to overconsumption across the sectors. And here the construction is a big part, as I mentioned, with underutilized floor space and aesthetic renovations. But we also have, for example, food consumption beyond nutritional needs or oversized vehicles. So those type of things where we think we have found valid data to say that this is actually overconsumption. I have one final slide, which is about the recommendations and call to actions, and we have divided them in 4 pieces. The first one is that there has been, one obvious sort of finding here was that there is not enough data. It's very difficult to do this kind of analysis. We've done a first attempt to find a number here, but it's surely very difficult because there is no circular statistics in Sweden, and I don't think in any other country either. So we have to extend both standardization of definitions, etc., but also the way we collect statistics and expand that to circular statistics, and of course do more research as well in that area. The second one is the value definition then, and how we actually define value. Value is very much defined still as prices in markets, and that's what we've used in our analysis. But we have to acknowledge that value includes environmental value and social value, which do not have prices in markets. And to try to handle that, there are a number of policy and regulatory proposals and suggestions that would incentivize, for example, reuse and repair and long life of products, tax incentives, subsidies, etc. And there are lots and lots of these suggestions that have been put forward over the years. For example, there is a Swedish Circular Economy Action Plan, but unfortunately there is not so much happening. So that's another thing to start working on. The third one is to foster cross-sector collaboration. So this is more directly towards industry and business. We know that we have to collaborate a lot more. We have to look at how to share data and how to share value between different business entities. And here is also, I think, research an important part. And the final one is actually maybe the most radical one, if you wish, but promote need-based consumption. So we have to maybe start talking about sufficiency and what is good enough, so to say. It's obviously, as we could show then, there is a lot of overconsumption going on. And how can we talk about that? How can we teach about that? And how can we sort of move this forward into another understanding of what is a sufficient and good life for all? So those are the 4 calls to action that we identified. And this is the QR code for the report if you want to have a look at it. So I don't know if we have time for questions, but of course, if you have any questions, I'm willing to answer.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And Charlotte, we will take the questions after the presentations, so
Okay.
keep it flow. Quite insightful information and wonderful recommendation. I think we can definitely learn a lot. And now let's continue in this regards with the next presentation. We have with us representatives from the Recon-Matic project, and they actually are also part of the circular construction cluster, and we will hear two presentations, one from Teresa and the second one from Egle. And thank you so much for also sharing the results from the Recon-Matic project with not only educational and upskilling, but also with certain tools that will support this way forward. So Teresa, the floor is yours, and then I think we can also continue with Egle's presentation. I know it's a short period of only 15 minutes, but in the highlight only the main results. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you very much, Angelina. Can you hear me well?
Maybe we need to increase a bit the volume from your side.
Okay. So, yeah, it's much better right now.
It's a bit better. Let's start and see. Yeah.
Okay, I will
Okay.
speak louder. Okay, I will, please let me share my screen. I will have to leave after my speech, but yeah, please write in the chat any questions you may have, and my colleague Egle will gather all of them and I will answer as soon as possible. Okay. So. Can you see my screen?
Yes, very good.
Okay. So I will explain what is CONSCAT, which is a tool to assess sustainability and circularity in the construction sector. This tool was developed under the project Recon-Matic, with the name is Automated Solution for Sustainable and Circular Construction and Demolition Waste Management. We are more than 20 partners involved from Europe, but also from UK and China. It's a 4 years project, which is coordinated by the Czech Technical University in Prague. The aim of the whole project is to prevent, minimize, and recover waste from construction and demolition and from all the stages in the value chains through the development of automated and digitalized solutions in every stage of the life cycle. For instance, advanced BIM models, blockchain, digital twins, artificial intelligence, development of new materials using those secondary materials recovered from the construction and demolition waste. And we involve all the target group for all the value chain. We wanted to, and with these automated and digitalized solutions, we are developing demonstrators, 6 demonstrators in United Kingdoms that they are using BIM tools to prevent waste generation during the design and construction stage. Also in the Czech Republic, they are using digital twins for managing construction and demolition waste in roads and buildings. In Greece, they are using blockchain application to manage the logistic of fresh concrete to prevent the generation of unnecessary waste of concrete. In Italy, digital management materials for railway infrastructure projects, or in Spain, we are developing robotics to select and separate the different fraction of city waste. So we wanted that all these digitalized solution and all the demonstrator have a sustainable and circular criteria, but in all the stages, preventing possible trade-offs between dimensions or between stages. So we developed this comprehensive guidance tool. We knew that exist many tools, but few of them cover sustainability dimension and circularity dimensions. And few of them, or no tool, are focused on waste from construction and demolition processes. And as said before, there are tools, but we have no data and we have no benchmark. And then many tools are complex and need experience or digital support, and many companies need guidance from the very start. So we developed a CONSCAT tool. We talk CONSCAT, construction and circular assessment tool for construction. This is a guidance tool intended to guide non-expert actor in all the value chain, in all the stages of the life cycle, to implement, assess, and prioritize sustainable and circular criteria to improve their innovative solution in order to prevent, minimize, and mitigate negative impacts in these dimensions, and also help to identify the strengths and the improvements of the solutions. And also we wanted to complement decision-making tools or those solutions that I explained before, but in a semi-quantitative way, because some of the innovative solutions that we are developing, not only in the project, but for the future, beyond the project, you can assess projects that are in a very early stage or in a very low TRL. So we decide to do this in a semi-quantitative way. I will explain how the rationale behind the tool. We study more than 50 reference documents, existing tool, certification schemes for circular economy, for sustainable construction. Then we talk with stakeholders from all the value chain through interviews, workshops, surveys, and we gather a huge list of more than 700 indicators. And after hard work, grouping, classifying, screening, we are with a more handled list of 100 indicators that will be used to assess any innovative solution related to construction. Okay, so the next step was to define the methodology of this assessment. And now, at this moment, we are designing and programming this tool that will be available online and free and customizable on demand. And then we will validate the tool through the 6 demo cases, and also with one international workshop that I will, of course, you are all invited, and I will show the access to this international workshop that will be held in the next month. So unfortunately, as I said, I cannot show you the full tool because at this moment it's being programmed, but I will show you some key screenshots. So this is the first dashboard where all the features of the CONSCAT tool can be seen. It's good for evaluate circularity performance and sustainable performance. It allows to do some scenario analysis and perform benchmarking. To access, you just need to log in with your email. You will receive a password where all your evaluation and assessment will be saved just for you. And the tool will assess 5 dimensions: environmental, social, technical, economic, and management and governance. Those dimensions are split in smaller subdimensions, and each subdimension is defined by different indicators. For instance, for social dimension, we have 24 indicators. The environmental solution with dimension, is the best one. We have 43, or economic 15, technical 15, and management and governance 9 indicators. So the user, first of all, is allowed to select only the dimension that is interested in. Then, for each subdimension, the user should indicate the importance that the subdimension has for him or for the project or the solution that is being assessed. Then, for each indicator, the tool asks some questions related to the impact of the indicator in the project. For instance, does it contribute to reducing greenhouse gases emissions? We don't need the figure, we don't need the number, but you can answer, well, this is not applicable for me because, I don't know, my project is related to I don't know, is not important, or I don't know, or is getting much worse, the emissions. We are emitting much more greenhouse emissions, or is worse, or where there is no changes, or is improving, is getting better, or getting much better. So this will help to with the importance that the user indicated at the beginning. The tool will prioritize which actions are needed to improve the circularity and sustainability. So the first result that the tool will give is some graphics that try to allocate according to the importance and urgency how better and how good or how bad is our solution in the different subdimensions. And also you can see our state in each indicator. So in this simple graph, we can see that all the indicators that are allocated on the left side of the bar are getting worse. So this is a problem. We have identified a trade-off, and all the indicators that are on the left side, on the right side, are those that are getting better. So one very important, interesting result that the tool submit is a report that gives hints about how to improve those indicators that are getting worse, and how to communicate the strength, how to communicate the improvements that we have get with the implementation of the innovative solution. So this is the tool, and you're able to validate and to see the result of the validation with the demo, and to try how to perform and how to run this tool in the workshop that will be held the 4th of March online. Please take a picture or a screen of the QR. Of course, you are invited. So this for me is just my intervention. So I will give the floor to Egle.
Yes, thank you so much, Therese.
Thank you.
I think Egle is ready. We continue right away. And
Yes.
please go ahead, Egle.
All right. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. My name is Agla Yonelunite. I represent Future Needs. We are a research and innovation consultancy supporting EU projects end to end. So from EU proposal writing to science communication. And today I'm representing Recommatic as a project as well as Teresa. Before I start, I just wanted to quickly thank Angelina and Katerina for inviting us to join this event, as we're both the Recommatic project and the Western Balkans Circular Economy Hub were both members of Circular Construction Cluster. So I think that during today's presentations, and of course, based on our everyday work in the field, everyone agrees that circularity in construction is not a theory anymore, and the technology works. And what we need today is actually the right people to use this technology. So naturally, the next step in circular construction isn't technology and it's people. The sector needs professionals who can apply digital tools and innovative design approaches across the entire building life cycle. So to address this challenge and to respond to this challenge, we, as the Recommatic project, offering free open access courses on circular construction. So these courses have been developed by more than 10 organizations working in this project. And at the moment, we have 9 targeted lectures, different topics, and very, let's say, in-depth curriculum. And as Future Needs, we are responsible for the overall e-learning experience. So just to make sure that that important information and all the material is easily accessible and easy to follow and learn from these training courses. So actually, I will show you quickly a live demo of the course, so you can have this a better understanding what I'm talking about. So for example, my colleague Teresa has just presented the circularity assessment tool. So this is actually one of the lectures, one of the 9 lectures that we have on the platform at the moment. It's called Measuring Circularity and Sustainability, How the New Tool Can Help. And our lectures are structured in a way to help learners naturally and logically follow their learning path. So, for example, this lecture is separated into 3 parts. Each part comes with video material, video and audio material, as well as information with a text and some illustrations and images. So whatever learner prefers, how to learn and take the information. And each lecture is concluded with a short self-assessment to actually see, where the gaps, if there are any gaps that exist, and address them. And once the learner completes, let's say, the self-assessment, and the assessment is successful, then he or she is being presented with a certificate, and via the platform, it's very easy to share the certificate, for example, with your network on LinkedIn, or download as a PDF, share it via email, or just save it for yourself. And to conclude the presentation, how to find these training courses. So it's very easy. My colleague will also share the links in the chat, but you just go to our website and you will be redirected to the training. Thank you very much for your attention. And I just wanted to share the final quote from Anna, who's the founder, and she's leading Future Needs. And she says that, and I really hope that everyone in this online digital room agrees with this, that innovation is only half the battle. It's really important, to translate the research and to make this research accessible to widespread practical application by every architect, engineer, and policymaker across Europe. Thank you very much for your attention. I know that we have a lot of time pressure, so I'm concluding and I'm letting someone else on the stage.
Well, thank you very much, Egle, and I'm sure it's already sparking interest from the participants. The links are shared. We will continue with the next presentation. Now I invite Sander and later on his colleague Nick to share how Friesland became one of the leading regions for circular economy in Europe. We are very keen to find out how this actually now works in practice, all stakeholders coming together and really achieving great results. So Sander, the floor is yours.
Perfect, thank you. You see my screen or you see myself now at the moment?
You see the screen, you can maybe only do it the slideshow.
One moment, my computer is a bit not cooperating with me at the moment. Oops. Let me either restart or Nick, can you share the screen because my PowerPoint is crashing here at the moment.
Hi, Sander. I will give it a go, but I need to download the slides first, so maybe Aileen has them ready.
I will just start talking, and then the slides will appear in the meanwhile. Just give me a heads up, Nick, if it works. Otherwise, I try again. So, hello everyone. We are Nick and Sander. We are actually from Friesland, which is a province in the northern part of the Netherlands. One of the 12 provinces actually we have, with 650,000 inhabitants there, and we have been working on the circular economy now for a bit over 10 years. We are very much honored by the invitation you sent out to us to share a bit of our story on how we work on the circular economy in our region, focusing a little bit on the overarching framework on where we work, and then afterwards Nick, he is the program manager for circular construction. We'll dive a bit more deeply into how we work on the construction sector. Nick, are you able to download it? I can always also try to share it again. One moment.
I'm getting there, Sander, almost.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So maybe to start off, we work as a region on the circular economy, and that's because we are a region, of course, but we also believe that, well, we make the claim that 80% of the circular economy is actually made in regions because of stakeholders are so close together, because of the opportunity to close value chains at the regional level, and also because on the regional level, with stakeholders being together, there's the threshold amount of trust in the ecosystem there to work together, to cooperate together, and to build projects and programs together. So for regions, it's really interesting strategies to start working on the circular economy, and it really pays off to do so. On the other hand, of course, we need the national and European levels also in our region to actually make the next steps in circular economy. And this is, of course, also a bit of a risk in our strategy, that we are also reliant on what on the national and European levels also happens. And well, in the current geopolitical context and everything which is happening, and where the sustainability agenda is a bit lower on the agenda, this is also a bit of a risk. And we also, as a region, and all of us, we need to adapt to this new situation, of course. But we make the claim that besides all of these transitions and things taking place, there's a lot to be done also on the regional level. So to start off with the case of Circular Friesland here.
I have the presentation otherwise. Do you want me to share it?
You have
No,
it as
okay,
well.
good. Oh no,
Here we
he's
go.
coming here. Good.
Very good in talking without slides as well. I've tried, but we see a yes. Here we go.
Yes. Now you have my sound as well. So almost that everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So, but I think we are good to go right now.
Yes, only in presentation mode, and then yes, here we go. So next slide, please. Next one. Next one. And the next one. Yes. So,
And can you
cool.
hide there's like a small menu thing on the screen? Can you? Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Yes. And can you go to slide 4? Because that's where my story is at the moment.
4.
Yeah. Okay. So here we are. Thank you. So this is our current situation where we are at the moment. We represent the Circular Friesland Association, which is an association on a regional scale with over 180 members, which started off by Frisian SMEs and businesses coming together and seeing the opportunity in the circular economy. So this is an important point for us also on why it works on a regional scale, that the business society actually embraces the idea of the circular economy. And that's where the energy, where the projects, and where the impact comes from, of course. But nowadays, all governmental bodies are also part of the association, which is, of course, crucial in terms of policy, legislation, but also in closing value chains with governmental bodies being a procurer of circular goods and products. And all levels of education actually are now part of it as well. Which is, of course, very important also for the longer term, also to scale our students with circular economy principles. Actually, what's being done at the moment, but not only focusing on the students, but also, of course, on the education of the business society, of policymakers. So it goes through all levels of education. Also, in the previous presentation, the very importance of developing skills in the circular construction sector, we really embrace that as well. And as said, on a regional level, there's a strong working relationship and a high amount of trust in the ecosystem, which is, of course, very important to make crucial steps. So this is maybe a photo of where we are at the moment. And maybe to the next slide, Nick. Thank you. And if we go to a timeline, it looks like this. So 10 years ago, we started off with our journey from the business society. And a very important moment in our timeline was 2018, when Friesland was the European capital of culture. And this actually gave a lot of flow and new ideas to the region. And also the idea that we need to create some overarching goals to start working together. And this is also an important lesson from our case, that not only start with your business society and go where energy and impact is, but also start to create an overarching story, a milestone, a flag, so to say, plant a flag on where to go to with all of your stakeholders, a shared vision, if you like. And that's really worked for us in this 2018 year, to have this overarching idea. Nowadays we are over this 180 members. It's really going really fast through the history of the association here. But we have this 180 members with a lot of projects and ideas going on, and we believe that we are actually among the front runners now in Europe, and we would like to focus on this a little bit more now. So next slide, please. And very important is this that we view the circular economy in a bit of a broad and holistic term sense. So not only focusing on recycling and reusing materials and resources, but also doing this in a way that is well, actually focusing on the wider part of the sustainable development goals. So also with a focus on sustainable energy, on water quality, on enhancing biodiversity, but also on more the social side to it. So strengthening health and well-being and cultural diversity, for example. And this opens the floor to a lot of stakeholders also to share this vision and to also be part of this movement. So this is also the reason why, for example, musea or educational institutions or, for example, local hospitals are also member of our movement and our association, because they are also working on this broader vision of a circular economy in our region. And with this, they also can be part of maybe the more core part of circular economy in reusing materials and resources. For example, our local hospitals also construct in a circular fashion at the moment. And this is all due to this larger umbrella of circular economy under which they are part. So this should be, well, is some of our lessons learned on how to create this wider community of stakeholders working in your region. Then on what we do, we would like to focus on some tipping points or some overarching programs and projects where we work on in the region to actually, well, work on the circular economy. And these are these 5. First and foremost, very important to work on circular procurement in Europe. And this is not a new thing. I think a lot of us know that circular procurement is essential to create new markets, to close value chains, and to go from pilots to scaling up. Secondly, we are working on circular entrepreneurship. We have over this 180 members now, over which more than 100 are entrepreneurs. So with this group, we work, of course, to strengthen their circular entrepreneurship, but we also would like to focus on the other 20,000 companies which are in our region and try to get to them as much as we can, also to bring in circular business models there. We work on legislation and regulation. As a region, we do not have a lot of mandate in terms of legislation and regulation as such, but what we can do is to go to the national authority and European authorities to do so. 4th point, we are working on circular education, which was already mentioned before. And we try to work on specific circular clusters and value chains in our region to make an impact. Those are these 5. These are the ones which we try to focus on in our region, because there we have the most of our business society, and we believe we can make the most of an impact there. Nick will focus on circular construction in a bit there, but other important elements of our economy are on packaging and circular plastics, on agriculture and creating healthy soils, on water technology, and on tourism. Those are the most important economic sectors in our region, and we see the most of circularity potential there, and a lot of projects and programs are running on circularity there. As said, one important thing is education. We have a program running which is called Spark the Movement. They have their own website and a lot of information there. So if you are interested also in how we work on circular education, please either contact us after this presentation or also look at the website of Spark the Movement and try to connect there, because, well, we believe this is really important and kind of the foundation and core of working on a circular economy. Next one, please. Yeah, I jump to it very quickly now because of the time, some time constraints here. But if you look at the impact over the last 10 years, these are some numbers which we are quite proud of. We have currently 20,000 people working in the circular economy in our region. And so said, with over 180 members actively working on it. Over the last 10 years, our companies invested more than $1 billion in circular economy, for example, in factories, in widening their business activities, and so forth, mainly in the sectors which we just described. So in construction and plastics, a lot of investments going on there. We saw an increase of 10% of companies working in the circular economy over the last years. We have over 550 projects on sustainability and circular economy in education, running from the primary sector, primary schools to universities. And maybe another interesting feature specifically for this one is the houses built with bio-based insulation, but Nick will go into that a little bit more just in a bit. Another number of which we are proud is the circularity metric of our region. We asked Circle Economy to perform a regional gap report. Maybe you heard of the national gap reports also on measuring circular economy on a national level. And Friesland was the first region to perform this on a regional scale. And we have currently a metric of 10.6%, which is the highest number so far measured by circular economy. This is, of course, something we are very proud of, but also we see the lacking 90%, of course. And this is something as an agenda for the coming years where we would like to work on in the specific sectors we do. And one of them being circular construction. And well, I announced Nick a couple of times already now, so maybe the teaser is there. So Nick, maybe you can run through some of the things we are doing on the construction sector.
Yes. Thank you very much for the introduction, Sander. A pleasure to be here. Yeah, I don't see any faces at the moment because I'm sharing my screen, so it's a bit difficult for me to make any contact with you. But it's a pleasure to be talking to you, especially because it was just a couple of months ago I was traveling through the Western Balkans and seeing your beautiful countries by camper. So great to be in contact like this as well. As Sander said, I'm working mainly on circular construction. And our goal is to make circular construction the new normal. And to do that, we need iconic circular buildings as well to see what is possible, to show, to challenge companies to come up with new ideas and innovations. And one of those iconic buildings is for us is what you see here on the picture, is a Zwetterhuis, which has a great combination of both circular procurement, where the province of Friesland, who owns the building, has required a specific circular criteria. On
Nick, sorry to interrupt. We are still on the slide of the movie, so maybe.
Oh, that is weird. You still are, Sander?
We are now on National Approach Bio-Based Building slide.
And now
we see the Zwetterhuis. Yes.
Okay, interesting. I saw the Zwetterhuis all along, but now you see it as well. And so, as I said, we need iconic buildings like this because here they demanded for about 40% of the materials to be reused, and over 10% should be bio-based. And these targets were acquired quite well by the companies that build it. Also, a regional construction company. And for us, we need to build on these iconic buildings to make it the new normal and to make the movement larger and larger. And that is our goal as Circular Friesland. To just show you a bit of the context, so we focus a lot on both bio-based construction materials, but also on reused materials. But show the national context, we have also a national approach on bio-based building. In the Netherlands, it's not very common to build with bio-based materials, even though they store CO2 and also come up with new value chains from farmers that can grow these materials like hemp and flax, and to use it again in the construction to make sure that they reach their sustainability targets. So for us, it's a very a logical step to do it, but we're very happy to have this national approach that can facilitate the transition in the Netherlands as well to a more bio-based construction sector. To give you the regional context, what we created in the last couple of years is a regional program on circular construction, because we believe that you should stimulate both supply and demand next to each other, so not focusing on one of those. And we try to capture that in one picture, and the picture that is what you see here. So on the left side, we see we help the clients, municipalities, developers, construction companies, to make sure that they ask the market for the right criteria, as the province did with Zwetterhuis. And on the other side, you also need to have a market that is ready to build with these criteria. So that is why we do is parallel from each other, and we help to set up new value chains on bio-based, for example, on reuse, and also make sure that we have circular regional innovations that are being put in this built environment. We think the built environment can be a large, great way of stimulating these innovations if the demand is there. So that is what we do together. And water technology innovations, for instance, is one of those sectors that we stimulate in this program. And then we call them accelerators, is what you see on the bottom. And this is the new normal, which means it's like a criteria set of that can be used by all these partners in the program. We lobby for laws and regulations to make sure that the whole market can scale up if we change certain laws and regulations. And we call this building the future. It's part of the program, and it focuses more on the educational part. So those are also partners in the program, and we help them come up with new educational programs and trainings, so they can keep up with the market instead of teaching students of how they should have been building 30 years ago, but now how they should build in the future. And maybe this is a good to add, is that we have a region of 650,000 people, and we help over 40 construction projects with this program. In the meantime, it's even going up. We're moving towards 60, 70 of these construction projects in the region, which means that in the next couple of years, we will have over 60 new examples of how you can build with circular criteria. And it also shows that the market is ready to invest, because the demand is going up very quickly, and but also organized. So it's not that then in one city they ask for different criteria than in the other city. So for us, it's a very logical way to do this together as a region. And we're even now looking if we can scale it up national. So you need to build these new value chains in the meanwhile. And what that means for us is you should bring together supply and demand. If you look at bio-based value chains, for example, you need to have an agricultural sector that is ready to start growing hemp or flax or miscanthus, or even we call this the wetland crops, cattail and reed, for example. So you need to stimulate on one hand the farmers, but on the other hand, you should have a construction sector that is ready to build with these materials. And if you bring those two together, we can also start investing in an industry that can use and transfer these materials into actual products that can be used in the construction sector. So for one thing, we have done this we are doing this for the crops that you see down below, so the 4 that I mentioned, together with the national approach, and also in an Interreg project called Building Based on Bio-based. And in that sense, we stimulate this. And the most successful so far is the Frisian hemp value chain. We have been building this to give you a bit of the time that is needed for us, at least, to do this. We have started in 2021 when we started with the first declaration an intent to build this hemp value chain together. We set up an insulation pact because no construction company was actually building with bio-based insulation, so that was an important step. Then the national approach started. Carbon credits were introduced for the hemp growth. And in October of 2024, we set up the Frisian Hemp Deal. And I will show you a bit what that entails. And we are now setting up the factory. Well, the entrepreneur Green Inclusive, but we are assisting, of course, in that. And they're opening this year. So what does it mean? The Frisian Hemp Deal. We are growing in the Netherlands now over 500 hectares of hemp by the company Green Inclusive. We have enlisted 5 social housing cooperatives because they have thousands of houses that need to be renovated in the upcoming years. So they can be a very important part of the market, and they can also push demand. So they work with all these regional construction companies. And in the meantime, we have now over 30 partners that said, okay, we will insulate at least 1,000 houses in the upcoming 3 years with Frisian hemp. And that is enough to start investing in that factory. And in the upcoming years, towards 2030, we want to grow very fast and move up towards 5,000 hectares of hemp and other bio-based materials. And it only works because of what you see here in the picture is all these people together signing for this hemp deal because they are part of our community. They are part of the association. So if we reach out for them and we say an entrepreneur has a great idea, do you want to cooperate with us for all these different types of values? They have said yes. So we can create a new economy together. So that was mainly focusing on the bio-based value chain. We're also working a lot on the reused material value chain. One of our successful examples is the value chain on concrete, where actually the value chain was being closed within the city of Leeuwarden. You see here is a social housing houses, social cooperative houses are being demolished. The concrete is being taken out, is being crunched and used again, and is even coming back in that same urban area. So that is a very close loop, but it was necessary to bring all these partners together and to make the right deal with them to come up with such a project. And for us, it's another great example to show what is already possible, to make it the new normal. And with that, I want to leave it to you and give back the floor to the organizing partner. So thank you very much for listening to our story. And if there are any questions or if you want more information, please reach out to us. We're always willing to share more with you. Thank you.
Wonderful, very insightful, and I presume a lot of comments and questions might occur. Let's see. Let's invite the participants at this moment if they would like to share a question at this moment. And if not, we can also collect if there is something later on that will pop up with the presentation and your insights as well. So are there any questions at this moment for Nick and Sander? I see Ellen has raised her hand. Ellen, please go ahead.
Hi, so good to see you. Thanks for a great presentation. I just wanted to know, because we had a presentation just before you about measuring in data for construction, and I think your example is so inspirational. You have done everything right. You're including everybody in society in doing this successful project. But I was wondering, how did you measure what was the best? I mean, you're using hemp now as a construction material, right? So have you measured if it's better to use like textile waste as an insulation, or is hemp better? And how did you do that in that case? And I mean, because I think there's so much knowledge that's still missing when it's like, what is the best to use or not? So
yeah, well, I think the good news, or maybe the bad news, is that if we see at bio-based materials or reused materials within the construction sector, it's still a very small amount. So in that sense, I think we need all those type of innovation and materials for now. We should stimulate all, I think. But what we do see is, of course, that the reuse of textiles within insulation is, of course, downgrading the textiles itself, and is not really, promoting a new type of economy. But what we're doing with the hemp is that it also offers our agricultural sector a new perspective on growing different types of crops. Besides the agricultural sector that is quite under a lot of pressure in the Netherlands. So because of nitrogen mainly. So for us, it makes a lot of sense to do this because it creates so much value for the whole chain.
Thank you.
But we do have the information of all the different types of insulation, so it's very easy, I think, to compare on a lot of different types which is, you can compare them quite easily. We do have the numbers for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm now looking at the time, would like to invite our next speaker with a small change in the agenda because of other obligations. So Victor, would you go next, please? So we continue with some interesting examples from our countries. And then we also have the next presenter, Dragana, as well. So one from Macedonia, one from Serbia in this case. Victor?
Yes. Hello all.
Hello.
I'm very grateful to be here in this context. I'll share my screen. Yes. Okay. Share. Do you see my screen?
Yes, only the slideshow and it's all good.
Perfect. I'm just not able. Okay, perfect. Well, we lost. Well, here in Macedonia, we have a bit different perspective because we have a lot of waste and it is not utilized very well. It's dumped, it's burned, and so on and so on. We know that the construction sector is contributing for almost 40% of CO2 emissions. And the conventional insulation materials, like stated here, are rarely or not recycled at all. So because we have a lot of textile waste and sponge, which is flexible polyurethane, I came up with this idea to use these materials for building thermoacoustical materials because my specialty is acoustics, building acoustics. So this is undervalued, valued very, and it's also very often overlooked in building design and effective regulation because in Western Balkans we have some kind of regulation, but it's not very strict. So with these materials, like you can see, I'm working with a manufacturer who use this PU foam waste, and I collect small amounts from textile waste, and we are mechanically recycling and rebonding, and we're making some kind of product that is usable in the building industry. I had the project with Fund of Innovations with 2 years time span. We did a lot of research. We found an optimal density, elasticity, and all the required properties to be used effectively in the building industry. So we have this product which is locally produced, and it's very effective because we use it in the buildings here, like you can see on the next slide. My company, M Acoustics, which is consultations, design, measuring in situ, on-site, and products. These products, FlexiPod, like you can see, these are real images from on-site. Okay, these are not taken from internet. We use them, these materials. A good point for us is because these kind of thermal acoustical materials are not harmonized by the European Union norms we have for EPC, for stone wool, etc. But this is material that is not regulated, but it is very effective because all the tests we have done in the laboratories and on site show very good performances. So we have these two kind of products that we are selling in Macedonia, but obviously our goal is to find a way so we can export also in the European Union, because the thing is that here in Macedonia, in the Balkans, because we don't have very precise normative, and it's not binding the investors and the clients to put these kind of materials, like sound insulation especially. Because yes, we use thermal insulation or EPS and similar, but not sound insulation. But this material gives excellent performances both in acoustical and thermal conductivity. So what is the point? Obviously, we all know that in this way we are keeping the waste out of the landfills. I made some studies comparing EPS, standard insulation. We can see how much we can save in CO2 and the total reduction for our product when we put all the energy and waste we put in our fabric. You can see this 463 kilograms of CO2 reduction per ton. And I can say this, in the last years we have proven that this material works, that is very effective. By the fact that we are producing this here, obviously we create jobs. We do not rely on imports. And yes, we are working on this so we can find partners to upgrade the performances of our materials, because every time there is space to upgrade the performances of our materials with partners, and eventually find a market when we can sell these products. These products were developed with collaboration with the University of Skopje, St. Kirill and Methodius, and also with the university in Italy, Luigi Mavitelli. So our goal is to make some kind of cheap but effective products, and using the local waste and not filling our landfills with waste. This is our main goal, obviously. And I can say this, that in this direction we have a strong move towards this kind of materials, because the demand for suitable and sustainable thermal and acoustic solutions is growing, like the gentlemen before me said, with using of HEM, obviously. This is another very good choice. But because we have a lot of waste here, my first thought was to use that waste and not produce new kind of raw materials. So obviously also their approach is very positive, is very intelligent. But I think that in our context, this approach is more suitable and more efficient. Well, much or less, this is what I would like to say in this my short presentation. Like I said, these products are not just a pilot idea or some kind of preliminary product, but it is full-grown and effective solution. Obviously, in the future, we will work on upgrading some performances of the materials, finding out other ways to make the production with less impact. But obviously, this is something that we are working on. Thank you very much. This was my short presentation about our real and efficient approach of recycling the waste in Macedonia, the textile waste and the sponge or PU, flexible polyurethane. And these are our products. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you for participating and sharing your results. We have another result to be shared from Serbia as well. We have Dragana with us as well today. Dragana, we would like also to hear from you, and it is a pleasure to, in this context as well, understand how ETRI Solutions shares this practice-based perspective on closing the value gap in the construction. So, Dragana.
Thank you so much. I will try to speed up because of the time.
Don't worry. Yes, you take your time. It's all good. I think we have 10 more minutes, so please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Dragana Božinović. I'm co-founder of ETRI Solution, ETRI Ecological Treatment, Recycling and Innovation, along my esteemed colleague Predrag Sušić. First of all, I would like sincerely to thank you for this organization, because in the past it was extremely important to us. This kind of events helped us to expand our professional network, connect with partners, etc. We truly believe that 21st century is a century of cooperation. No serious innovation today happens in isolation. So this is our pillars of our business. We are a startup dedicated to bridging the gap between scientific innovations and practical needs. We focus on circular economy, groundbreaking patents, and active participation in EU projects. So our innovation portfolio and our flagship product is A1, eco-friendly European certified solution for fire prevention, thermo-isolation and fire suppression. I'm very proud of this solution. It is one of the kind in the world. And additionally, we hold a patent for agricultural drought prevent, suitable for organic farming and enabling crop to thrive without irrigation. This innovation comes from exceptional innovator Mate Zubac, and we are very fortunate to collaborate with him. So let me now move to core topic of today's presentation. From direct field experience, we can see how large quantity of construction waste ends up in the landfills, despite the fact that this is a highly valuable material. In most cases, construction and demolition waste is either disposed or used at the lowest possible value level. Our approach is very simple in concept, but demanding in execution. We start from what already exists on the ground and upgrade it step by step. You can see that we collect construction waste directly from companies that pay us for its transport and treatment. Using on-site crushing with a mobile crusher, which we rent, and we process this material into recycled construction aggregate. Last year, we processed approximately 10,000 cubic meters of this construction waste, and this resulting aggregate is sold directly on the local market at prices starting from 30+ euro per ton, depending on volume. Even at this basic processing level, after equipment rental cost, the activity already achieved a revenue to cost ratio approximately 1:3. In its current form, recycled construction aggregate is mainly used for site leveling, agriculture and fields roads, and similar application. And this represents the most basic and in many ways the most primitive use of this material. However, it is an extremely important operational base because it proves that the model works economically before any further innovation is introduced. And now moving up the value chain, building on this base, our next step is material upgrading. Together with Faculty of Civil Engineering in Subotica, we are developing formulations for lightweight concrete based on recycled construction aggregate and processed glass. Level weight concrete operates in completely different value category compared to raw aggregate. While recycled aggregate is sold at around 30 euros per ton, market benchmarks for lightweight concrete range from approximately 120 to 400 euros per cubic meter, depending on performance characteristic of this material. This performance is including reduced structural weight, improved seismic behavior, thermoisolation, and acoustic insulation properties. And let me now highlight the role of glass in this value chain. In addition to this, the glass significantly improves material performance. Glass-based aggregates reduce friction, improve durability, and expand the range of application. And these characteristics are highly valued on the market. So in parallel with this construction waste, we have already started operation with the glass. We currently have access to 10,000 tons of waste glass. And in its raw form, waste glass is priced at approximately 50 euros per ton. However, when processed through crushing, washing, and grading, glass aggregates for agriculture and construction reach significantly higher market prices, and this is typically between 300 to 600 per ton. So you can see different values in this upgrading of material. And together with Professor Arpad Čeh, we are developing an expanded foam glass, which targets the highest value segment of recycled glass materials. Foam glass is used as a high performance aggregate for lightweight concrete, thermal isolation, and vibration damping. So many colleagues ask how we finance our business. So we have a different approach for different business line, and we start with paid waste processing and basic materials sales, and then we move to upgraded materials and finally to high-value construction products. For scaling, we rely on a combination of funding resources. At the national level, our key instruments are the Innovation Fund and the Development Fund. We have recently been honored to receive a grant for the Innovation Fund to control and prevent fires at the Ada landfill, which represent an important example of how scientific innovation can be applied in real environmental risk management. So at the European level, we actively explore programs such as Horizon Europe, LIFE program. I'm very interested in Accelerator program and various cross-border and transnational cooperation programs. So these instruments are extremely important, not only as a fund sources, but also as platforms for building international partnerships, testing technologies, and scaling solutions across different markets. In parallel, we maintain continuous dialogue with private investors because innovation ecosystem today require a combination of public and private support. Our network, including the Chamber of Commerce of Serbia and the Chamber of Commerce of Vojvodina, has been instrumental in connecting us with embassies operating in Serbia. And these institutions have been very supportive in providing information and facilitating contacts with academic communities and investors from their respective countries. So I'm hurry a little bit because I have some pressure because it's only almost 11:30, but we are very willing to connect with colleagues. We heard many interesting information, so thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dragana. It's also an inspiration to hear great success coming from the Western Balkans, and with this invitation that you had and understanding in which way we can go together in different type of partnerships actually, and inviting the members of the hub, the present people here, to reach out and start discussing, and with this also creating new initiatives, because much is needed in really, as our title of the topic today is, to close the value gap and to really reach to circular construction goals that we have. Again, I thank you a lot for all present here. We will collect all the questions that you have. You can also reach out later as well. Contacted the presenters and have the presentation, the recording, also with a follow-up email sent to you in just a few days. So thank you again. Have a wonderful day, and we keep in touch. This conversation needs to continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.